Have you ever heard someone mention the mark of the beast and wondered what they were talking about? This mysterious phrase from the Bible has sparked debates, inspired movies, and even influenced how some people view modern technology. Let's explore what the Bible actually says about this topic and what it might mean for us today. The mark of the beast is mentioned in the book of Revelation, the last book of the Bible. The Apostle John wrote this book while he was imprisoned on an island called Patmos, around 95 AD. At that time, Christians were being persecuted by the Roman Empire. The main verse people talk about is Revelation 13 verses 16 to 18. The beast forced all people, rich and poor, free and slave, to get a mark on their right hand or forehead. No one could buy or sell without this mark, which was either the beast's name or the number of its name. Here's a puzzle that requires wisdom. Figure out the number of the beast because it's a human number. That number is 666. When John wrote Revelation, he used a special type of writing called apocalyptic literature. This style uses lots of symbols, metaphors, and coded language. It's like writing in code so that Christians could understand the message, but their Roman persecutors couldn't easily figure it out. Think of it like how teenagers today might use certain slang words or inside jokes that adults don't understand. John was doing something similar, but with much more serious consequences if he was caught. In Revelation, the beast represents a powerful government or leader that opposes God and hurts God's people. Many Bible scholars think John was talking about the Roman Empire, especially Emperor Nero, who was known for his cruelty toward Christians. But here's the thing. This prophecy wasn't just about ancient Rome. Many Christians believe it also points to future events or represents any government or system that opposes God. There are 4 different ways people understand this. 1. The future view. Some Christians believe the mark of the beast is something that will happen in the future. A world leader, called the Antichrist, will take control of the global economy. Everyone will need a special mark or ID to buy or sell anything. People who refuse this mark will be persecuted. This will happen during a terrible time called the Great Tribulation. 2. The past view. Other Christians think this already happened in ancient times. The Roman Empire was the beast. Romans had to show loyalty to Caesar, the emperor, to participate in society. The number 666 refers to Emperor Nero. This was fulfilled when Jerusalem was destroyed in 70 AD. 3. The throughout history view. Some believe the mark of the beast represents evil systems throughout all of history, different evil governments and false religions throughout time. Each generation faces its own version of the beast. The prophecy unfolds bit by bit throughout history. 4. The spiritual view. Others focus on the spiritual meaning. It represents the choice everyone faces: serve God or serve the world. It's about staying true to your faith, even when it costs you something. The mark is really about what's in your heart, not something physical. What about the number 666? The number 666 has fascinated people for centuries. Here are the main ideas about what it means. It represents imperfection. In the Bible, 7 is often seen as the perfect number. The number 6 falls short of 7. So 666 might represent humanity trying to be like God, but always falling short. It points to a specific person. Some people try to calculate which historical figures have names that add up to 666 using ancient number systems. Many have tried this with various leaders throughout history. It's simply human. The Bible says it's a human number, which might just mean it represents human weakness and rebellion against God. Today, many Christians wonder if certain technologies or systems might be related to the mark of the beast technology. Computer chips that can be implanted under the skin. Digital payment systems, like paying with your phone. Facial recognition and other tracking technologies. Social media and digital identity systems. Economic control. Cashless societies where everything is digital. Global banking systems. Government control over who can work or buy things. International organizations that make economic decisions. Social pressure. Being excluded from society for your beliefs. Pressure to go along with popular ideas, even if they conflict with your faith. Government laws that might conflict with religious beliefs. Social media, cancel culture. What does this mean for Christians? Regardless of how someone interprets these prophecies, there are some important lessons. Don't live in fear. While it's good to understand Bible prophecy, Christians shouldn't become obsessed with fear about the future. God is still in control, and fear isn't supposed to drive our decisions. Focus on being faithful today. Instead of worrying about future scenarios, Christians should focus on living faithfully right now. This means making choices that honor God, even when it's difficult. Use wisdom and discernment. Christians should think carefully about the world around them without becoming paranoid. Not every new technology or change in society is necessarily evil. Remember what really matters. The most important mark for Christians is the spiritual seal that God puts on everyone who believes in Jesus. This is mentioned in other parts of Revelation and represents God's protection and ownership. The real choice. At its heart, the mark of the beast represents a choice that every person faces. Will you serve God, or will you serve worldly power and comfort? Throughout history, Christians have faced situations where following Jesus cost them something. Early Christians who refused to worship Roman emperors. People who stood up against corrupt religious leaders. Those who resisted evil governments. Modern Christians who face pressure to compromise their beliefs. What about buying and selling? The passage mentions that people without the mark can't buy or sell. This could mean, literally, a future system where you need a special ID for all transactions. Symbolically, being excluded from society for your beliefs. Economically, losing job opportunities or business because you won't compromise your faith. Many Christians throughout history have faced economic hardship because they wouldn't compromise their beliefs. This isn't necessarily a new or future problem. Practical questions for today. Here are some questions Christians today might ask themselves. Are there ways I'm pressured to compromise my faith for social acceptance? How do I balance being part of society while staying true to my beliefs? What technologies or systems should I be concerned about? And which ones are probably fine? How can I prepare spiritually for whatever challenges might come? The good news. While the mark of the beast sounds scary, remember that Revelation is ultimately a book of hope. It promises that God will ultimately defeat evil. Those who stay faithful to God will be rewarded. Jesus will return and make everything right. No earthly power is stronger than God. The mark that matters most for Christians is the spiritual seal that God places on everyone who trusts in Jesus. This mark can never be removed or counterfeited by any earthly power. Historical examples. Throughout history, Christians have faced mark of the beast type situations. Roman times, Christians who wouldn't worship Caesar faced death. Medieval period, people who wouldn't follow corrupt church practices were persecuted. Nazi Germany, Christians who opposed Hitler's regime faced consequences. Communist countries, believers who wouldn't deny their faith lost jobs and freedom. Today, Christians in some countries face persecution for their beliefs. In each case, some believers chose faithfulness to God over personal safety or comfort. How to think about this? Here are some helpful ways to approach this topic. 1. Study the Bible. Read Revelation for yourself and study it with mature Christians who can help you understand it. 2. Don't panic. Even if you believe difficult times are coming, God promises to take care of his people. 3. Focus on character. Work on developing the kind of character that will help you make good decisions under pressure. 4. Stay connected. Be part of a Christian community that can encourage and support you. 5. Trust God. Remember that God's plan is bigger than any earthly power or system. The mark of the beast is one of the most talked about prophecies in the Bible, but it's also one of the most misunderstood. Whether you believe it refers to future events, past history, or ongoing spiritual struggles, the main message is clear. There will always be pressure to choose between following God and following the world. The good news is that Christians don't have to face these choices alone. God promises to give wisdom, strength, and protection to those who trust in him. The most important mark isn't something that might be forced on people in the future. It's the mark of God's love and salvation that he freely gives to everyone who believes in Jesus. Instead of living in fear about end times events, Christians can live with confidence, knowing that no matter what happens in this world, God's love and plan will ultimately triumph. The best preparation for any future challenges isn't stockpiling supplies or avoiding technology. It's developing a strong relationship with God and learning to trust Him completely. Remember, God is bigger than any beast, stronger than any system, and more powerful than any earthly authority. That's the real message of hope in the book of Revelation.